One of the goals we had was if we hit 1 million before midnight last night, Brandon and Chris would wax their chests.
Yeah. I was sitting at home and we were really close and we were all really excited about getting to 1 million. So I was talking to Barbara and Chris, try to figure out something dumb we could do. And I don't know why that came up.
So what's your chest look like?
It's a disaster.
Whip it out.
No. I don't want to spoil it. We made a video of it. We're going to release it.
Do you have folliculitis yet?
What the fuck is that?
Well, you got all like follicle goop.
It doesn't look good.
No.
Goop? Like stuff comes out?
No, it's like all bumpy and nasty.
Oh.
But yeah, and there was about 20 people, like work completely stopped at this company for about an hour.
I was sitting at my desk with my headphones on and I kept hearing screaming.
Yeah.
And it wasn't coming from the office next door, so I knew it wasn't Joel and Adam. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
They put a picture of the audience on screen of everybody who was watching me wax Brandon and Chris's chest.
Yeah, we were actually in the kitchen and both Chris and I were just sprawled out on the kitchen table and people are going to be eating there tomorrow morning.
At first I was scared because you guys asked me to do it. And then I was just like, you know what?
It looks like an operation.
It looks like that board game operation. Like, remove Brandon's chest hair.
Chris has about 3 chest hairs, but he has a lot of hair around his nipples.
Oh.
So we
Patrick
had some
liked
fun
that
with
one.
those.
Do you have to go around the nipple or do you just
You're probably supposed to, but we just went right over it.
You went over it?
It
It'd be funny if you had put a piece of pepperoni on the waxing tape before and you pulled it up and like, oh my God! And like, trying to freak him out.
I wasn't worried about the pain. I was so worried that I was going to lose a nipple. Maybe I did. You'll have to watch it.
Brandon's legs were shaking so much when we were doing his nipple. He's just like, I really don't want to fucking lose a nipple. Holy shit. He was just like, no, you're not going to lose a nipple from wax.
You can always pop it back on. You'd have it right there.
Stretch
That's
goal.
not how it works.
Reattach Brandon's nipple. Just put it on ice. See if we hit that stretch goal. Get
Gross.
it back. Stretch goal. Brandon gets a 3rd nipple.
What if we stretch your nipple on the stretch goal?
Gross.
That's why. Why is this the thing? You know, the funny thing though is we asked Barbara to do it, and she literally has no experience waxing anybody.
Oh, I thought you meant wax her chest. That would be weird.
The people that did, Blaine has a lot of experience waxing people, and
he does?
Yeah.
Apparently his dad's very hairy, so he would like.
So Blaine
wax
waxes his dad.
Yeah.
That's a great mental image.
Probably his back.
Everyone, let's just take a moment.
Do you think like for Father's Day he gives his dad a coupon that says, dear Dad, thank you, happy Father's Day. Here is a coupon for 1 free back waxing from Blaine. And Blaine's like, here you go, Dad.
My favorite part is how you started that letter with thank you.
I didn't know where I was going with it.
It was Dad, hey Dad, thank you Dad.
What can I say? I'm a master when it comes to writing greeting cards for Father's Day. It's just
Thank
a
you
second
for fathering me.
Just saying.
Do you think I could get $100 for this?
What? The
All of
microphone?
this?
The
What are you
microphone's
pointing
worth
at?
more than that.
It's like my bot. Oh, it is. Oh, that is pointed at the microphone. Do you
What
think
are
we
you
get
doing?
$100 for this microphone?
Oh, absolutely. That microphone costs way more than that.
Oh, okay.
The fact that Bernie has had his mouth on that, I think, would make it go for $100.
Just a standard mic would go for quite a bit. Yeah, but I understand what you mean about like having these dumb first world problems.
Yeah.
Like I had to go to like a big appliance store to buy a new refrigerator and a washer and a dryer, and like there was a problem in my order.
Best Buy.
So I had to go back to the store and I asked one of the employees like, listen, I messed up my order. I got the wrong cord for it. He's like, oh, go talk to that guy over there. He'll help you. So I go up to that guy, and he's like, the other employee's like talking to some other customer, so I'm just standing there waiting. And then like mid-sentence talking to the customers, he turns, looks at me, and goes, Gus? And he like starts immediately ignoring the customers.
Oh, no.
And I was like, no, hey, it's cool. It's like, I'm just I'll wait over here. And it's just like awkward. Like these people have no idea. They're trying to buy something. Like, no, I'm good. I'll be over there.
Yeah.
Just keeps following you.
No, he was good about it. He recovered and got back to taking care of his original customers. But I felt like an asshole because like these people were like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Like we're in the middle of our transaction here and this asshole steps up and like totally distracts our guy.
What has been your worst fan interaction, Gavin? Has anything like really embarrassing happened? Like this is hemorrhoid cream?
No, not really. Nothing I can think of like that.
I haven't seen
Honestly, all of my embarrassing stories I tell anyway. Nothing's really private in terms of my body or anything.
I haven't seen my pharmacist in a while, the one I got the Valtrex from.
Yeah.
I don't know if he transferred or what happened to him. But every time I go to the pharmacy, I still expect to see him, and I've not seen him in about 6 months. So.
Are you worried each time?
I don't worry about it. I mean, the dude already gave me Valtrex. I mean, what worst can happen at this point? Like, hey, I'm here for my Viagra.
So did your arsehole actually come out?
That was a different. Okay, so we're talking about the shingles and we're talking about hemorrhoids. You're
Yeah.
talking about the hemorrhoids now.
Yeah.
No. When I had hemorrhoids, it was like there was a little balloon inflated in my asshole. So it was like painful to sit. Like it was like a bean. Like imagine if there's a bean stuck in your asshole.
But like it's like around the anus, isn't
Right,
it?
and it's like anytime you shit, it's like the Play-Doh, the machine with like the star would come out or the half moon or whatever, and it was like you were like squeezing out a weird shaped piece of shit, and anytime you sit, you were sitting on this bean that was kind of stuck in your asshole. It was super uncomfortable. So all the time, like I would want to lay on my stomach because like laying on my back or sitting down was just so uncomfortable. But no, I don't think my asshole actually came out.
So this bean, was it
Thank
just
God.
like stretched intestinal skin?
I guess.
Or was it like an extra piece of...
I think it's just like inflamed skin that's like
What?
stretched.
Because hemorrhoids could happen a number of ways, right? One is like you push too hard when you shit. One is like you sit on something flat for too long.
That's how I got
I
it.
thought you can sit on cold surfaces and get hemorrhoids.
I sat on a cold, hard concrete floor for about 14 hours straight.
I think it's because it was hard and flat. I don't think it's because it was cold.
You were
But I
wearing
don't know.
pants
Could be right.
though.
All right, well, how about
This
this?
is my underwear.
You sit on a
Alright.
cold... You sit on just a hard, flat thing, and I'll sit on a block of ice, and we'll see what happens.
But that's also hard and flat.
Oh. Well, what if we carve it into a nice curved
We
seat?
like mold your ass and then like
Carve it
make
into
a
ice.
piece of ice and just carve it so it's a perfect seat.
So you
for
had-
Are we like bottomless or are we wearing anything?
Yeah, we can wear stuff, I guess.
Okay.
You can wear underwear. That's what I wore.
You went anus to concrete,
Oh
right?
God, no.
No, okay.
Come on. I had a thin piece of cotton
Yeah.
separating my anus from the concrete. I was not disgusting about it.
Weren't you afraid that you're gonna try to get up, but instead of going up, you just went forward, and you'd be like scraping your butt against the cement?
It was very polished and smooth. So I mean,
Okay.
it
Your
wasn't
butt or
like
the cement?
it wasn't like
This is Gus.
Rough.
He only sits on the best cement there is.
yeah. It was a stained concrete floor. I just want to say it was a nice apartment.
Best of the best for Gus Sorola.
Yeah.
Patrick the other day was giving me plumbing advice because of my drain problem.
Was he a plumber?
That wasn't the other day. It was earlier today. I don't know if he's a plumber. He just knows about plumbing. He's
Oh.
like, yeah, you want to like unscrew this bit and then like snake it in like this. And I was like, I'll give that a go. And then I'm gonna call him when I
I can't
mess it up.
imagine you doing that successfully.
The only thing I've ever snaked was my dad has this aquarium, and after like 6 months, it just gets caked in like fish shit, like all the way up the pipes. And I like pushed this thing all the way down it, and it like totally cleaned it. Like it was amazing. You push it in, and all the poo comes off, but then it ends up in this big clump at the end. And I pulled the thing out, and it was like really in there, and it was like kind of bungee kind of material. Whipped it out. I got like a stripe of fish shit like all across my face, and threw up immediately. So I think that's how it's gonna go if I have to snake my own pipes.
Did you have to snake it again after that before you vomit?
So gross, dude. Like 6 months of compacted fish feces.
We have a goldfish at my house in Ottawa, and it's probably the biggest goldfish I've ever seen. It's probably about 6 inches long or so,
Easily impressed.
and it's been alive for like 5 or 6 or 7 years, maybe even more.
Or 8.
It's so big that it's outgrown the tank it's in, and every time it shits, it scares itself. So it'll thrash around like crazy and like start like bumping into the walls of the tank and like moving the rocks around. So we could always tell when the fish shits because you hear just like thunk, 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 thunk.
Well, because it's so big, it's like scared of what a new thing that's in the tank with it.
It like lets it shit out, but like thrashes around to like get the shit out of its ass, I guess.
Is it a cool looking fish?
I want to eat it. It looks delicious.
Okay.
It's just like a big fat goldfish.
That's a
What, you a
fucked up thing to
cat?
say about a
You
family
can't-
pet.
Its name is Mr. Fishy,
Who named it?
my little brother.
You want to eat your goldfish?
You
It would
wanna
be
eat Mr.
gross.
Fishy.
I always make jokes to my little brother about wanting to eat it because I know that it would make him sad.
How long have y'all had it?
Like probably over 7 years, I think.
Jesus. I didn't think goldfish live more than like,
They said it would last about maybe 2 or 3 years at tops.
yeah, that's what I would think.
I once knew someone who had a goldfish bowl below a dartboard, and it didn't end well.
What?
There were two fish. There were two fish, and on a dartboard, there's to differentiate between the colors. Sometimes there's metal
Right.
Yeah.
wire, and the dart just bounced straight up off the dartboard, went straight down through one of the fish, and the other fish died as well from like just the blood and stuff.
Oh, from the shock.
I used to have
So bad.
years ago, like 10 years ago, no, longer than 10 years ago, a long time ago, I used to have this little beta fish
I also had a beta fish.
I called him Max Power, and
Mine was Johnny Bravo.
I kept Max Power in a little bowl on a shelf, and the shelf was like right above my couch. So imagine if there was like a shelf up behind you, and then there was like a bowl with a beta fish up there. One day I'd cleaned his water out and put in new water, put him on the shelf. Sat down, I was watching The Matrix on DVD or some shit, right? It's like the year 2000. And
that's what people did back then.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, I just bought a DVD player just to watch The
They
Matrix.
watched The Matrix.
And I turned around to look at the fishbowl, and it was gone.
The fishbowl.
The fish was gone.
Oh.
I was like, it was just like a bowl of water. I was like, where the fuck did the fish go? So like, I started looking around like on the counter and then like in the kitchen. Like, I couldn't find it anywhere. I was like, what the
Ew.
fuck? And then I sat down and I'm like, wait a minute, am I sitting on it?
Oh,
no.
So I stood up, and it was between my fucking couch cushions. Like, I guess I'd put too much water in it. It had jumped out and like gotten between the couch cushions. So like, I was like, oh shit, and I put him back in the water. He just like kind of floated sideways, and I was like, oh no, I fucked up. Like, why did I put so much water in there? He lived.
Yeah,
No way.
those
You
types of fish
fucking
could
live.
live outside of water for like I think a couple hours.
Yeah.
Fish are
Yeah.
really resilient. I was once, I was another like cleaning my aquarium thing. There was this big castle, I guess, piece of scenery that was in the aquarium. Really heavy, like way heavier than this. And I like cleaned it and I hosed it all off, put it back in.
No.
And we had these angelfish that are about this big. And I was like, where's one angelfish that's not here? And I saw it like compressed by this castle. It was just like its head was poking out. I was like this. I was like, I've just crushed this fish to death. And I pulled the castle up and it floated and then just went and just carried on living.
Wow.
It lived longer than all of the other ones.
And it was heavier than this.
Yeah, it was just like smushed
beard.
When
against
in
all
water,
the...
things are lighter.
It's true.
But like everything you describe does not compare to the ocean at all. Like if you watch any sea documentaries, like every single second, it's like what's about to eat me, what's about to attack me,
Well,
what can I attack,
I've
what
seen
can I
Finding
eat,
Nemo.
and it's from like every direction.
Patrick
like
was telling me a story earlier. I guess that there were these scientists who were tracking great white sharks, and they put a tracker on a 9-foot-long great white shark, and they said that the shark was out swimming around in the ocean, and I think he said that it was swimming at like depths of 50 feet, and they could watch it where it was going, and then all of a sudden they said the tracker just fucking plummeted straight down, and then like got stuck down there, and then like 3 days later the tracker washed up on the shore.
Whoa.
So they think like something from deeper came up, grabbed a 9-foot-long great white shark,
And just
ate
dragged it down.
dragged it
Yeah.
down,
Oh my God.
and then like shit out the receiver 3 days later.
Yeah.
So
Oh
the
my
scientists are like,
God.
"What the fuck was that thing that just ate that shark?"
They should have put a camera on it.
Well, you know, there's nothing bigger than a whale because the whale's the perfect size for water, right, Gavin?
And sharks can't look down, right?
I guess
they're just
I
going
also-
like they're just moving. They can't just stop and like tilt.
Also, we think of them as like an apex predator in the ocean. Like, what eats that? Something bigger and
giant.
from
Maybe
deeper.
the shark just went down. Maybe it went mental and just like swam all the way down, like thrashing about. Maybe it took a shit.
Barbara's a little too pleased with herself on that. It's not a goldfish, Barbara. Be serious. So I grew up on the U.S.-Mexico border, on the U.S. side. And there's an interesting thing where I guess, unless you live on the border, you don't realize this. But in the United States, like I lived in the United States, if I drove on any highway out of the city I grew up in, about 30 miles outside, on every highway, there's an immigration checkpoint. Where you're in the U.S., you have to pull over, and then you have to explain where you're going and that you're an American citizen. And I fucking hated those things when I was younger. And sometimes they'll ask you to pull over, and they want to inspect your car to make sure you're not carrying drugs or illegal immigrants. So anytime they would ask me to pull over, I'd pull over, I'd get out of my car, lock it, and be like, you can't look in it.
Why would you do that?
Because I had time. I had nothing to do. And they were like, we just need to look in your car, sir. And I'd be like, no, I don't give consent. You can't look. And they'd be like, are you hiding something? I'd be like, no. Well, why won't you let us look? It's like, because I don't want you to look in my car. And then they'd like all go and they'd go like huddle up and talk. They'd be like, we can call the dogs out here. We can have the dogs sniff your car. I was like, all right, go ahead.
Sniff the car.
Waste your time.
And then
Yeah.
they'd be like, well, it's going to take 2 hours for the dogs to get here. I'd be like, all right, can I wait in my car? And then go off and they'd huddle up again. And they'd come back like, all right, you can go.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I guess because
I would always call their bluff. They've never called the fucking dogs. And now I'm never going back, so they're going to call the dogs.
So even if you've shown them your passport and then you're American,
You don't have to show paperwork at this
Okay.
checkpoint. It is literally there's a guy, you roll down your window, he goes, where are you going? Oh, where are you headed to? And you tell him, he's like, all right, what were you doing in the border town? Okay, and then based on I guess whether or not you have an accent and whether or not your story seems plausible about why you were at the border, then they decide whether or not to further inspect you.
So why did they want to further inspect you?
Because I was a young guy going to the border, driving back to Austin. Like, this guy's got to have weed on him. Not every time.
Get the dogs.
Yeah, so it's like, I just hated having to do it. Nowadays, I would easily let him search because I don't want to fucking sit there and wait. This is like me when I was like a snotty teenager, you know, and had plenty of time to waste. Some dude in Austin got arrested a couple weeks ago because he was shining, you know, there's those like real powerful lasers you can buy online.
That's illegal.
He was shining them at a police helicopter.
What?
That's like an arrest me beacon.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm breaking
it was
the
a
law.
police helicopter landing at the Austin airport, and he kept shining the green laser at it. And of course, they're like, the guy's right over there. So it's like they landed and just went straight over there and arrested him.
That's a huge crime to commit.
Yeah.
I think that's a really big fine.
Why would you do that?
Shining
That's
a beacon at a
fucking
police
stupid.
helicopter?
How old was he?
He was like 23.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like the same asshole who used to shine a laser pointer at the movie screen just like graduated to like the next level of douchebaggery.
For like
Yeah.
3 years, those laser pointers were everywhere.
Can you hit the moon with a laser pointer?
It's powerful enough, I think you can.
If you hit say the moon was...
What is your fascination with the moon?
It's just like really big and close.
What do you mean hit it?
So
Well-
am I, apparently.
So if it
They're
was
about the same color.
if it was a new moon... Wait,
Spit it out. Work through it.
like that's when the moon's all black, right?
No, I think yes.
Could you shine a light at it? A laser?
You can always shine light at it.
Yeah, but you can't see it if it's, you know, a green laser on the white moon. It's reflecting the sun. You're not going to see it.
Yeah, but you might not hit it. If well,
Are you
no,
saying
I
I
guess
can't-
you're moving with the. You're moving.
the moon's not going like...
No. But I'm saying you're moving with the moon, and then I guess if you're moving, the light's going to be moving as well.
What?
Because it's not going to just instantly get there. Like it'll take, you know.
I mean,
It won't be
it'll
that
go
long.
How long does light would
300
take to get to the moon? Light takes like
Light takes-
6 minutes or 12 minutes to get
Isn't it
from
like
the sun.
300,000
Yeah, so it
meters
would
per
just be a
second?
couple seconds.
Oh, okay.
Well, no.
If that.
Well, because the moon is like 240,000 miles away.
Oh, so it would take like a second.
It would take... Yeah, there wouldn't be any noticeable delay. You could just beam the moon.
Just
But I'm
hit
wondering if you look down a telescope,
If you could see
would it be too dispersed by the time it hits the moon, or could you see a spot
You'd
on
have
the
to be
moon?
very precise. You'd have to have like the laser would have to be almost mounted to the telescope,
Yeah.
and you'd have to be able to like dial in specific coordinates to be able to find it. Because then you're aiming a telescope at the moon.
I would like to do it and have a bunch of lasers and spell something out on the moon. And then...
We've lost Barbara.
You'd sound like a Bond villain. Like that's exactly what they do in Bond movies.
But, like, what-
the people would.
It would be the most
freak
effective,
the fuck out.
effective ad campaign ever. The moon just with green text on it, and everyone can see it, and nobody can do anything about it.
But it would be so small.
We'll just do it big then.
No, but I mean, like, the size you see the moon from Earth, it's like you could put your thumb over it and cover it.
Right. Well, I think
So how much
size-wise,
text
it's
could
like
you,
Australia.
how much text could you put there?
Maybe it's the logo.
Cockbite.
Okay, so I remember hearing about you. You made me remember this. This is a story dated from May 15th of this year. A Japanese drink company. This is on The Verge, TheVerge.com. A Japanese drink company is putting the first billboard on the moon.
Are they projecting it on the moon?
They're sending a 1 kilogram titanium can filled with powdered sports drink and children's dreams. What?
What?
Hold on.
Are you reading a joke right now?
That's what I'm starting to wonder. I guess it must be a bad translated Japanese press release.
Is it being taken up there by fairies?
The specially designed canister, which contains a
Is it
shipment
the most popular combo?
of Pocari sweat powder, will mark a disturbing new frontier for humanity, the first commercial product delivered to another world for marketing purposes. It'll be carried to the lunar surface aboard the first planned private moon landing mission set to take place October 2015. So, yeah, it's being taken up there by a Falcon 9 rocket.
It's going to be damn annoying to see an ad on the moon. Do you think one day I'll end
You
up
probably
like...
won't be able to see it if it's a 1 kilogram can.
But I'm saying, like, imagine this is the moon. Like, this is your vision of the moon. This tiny little circle on the pillow. You can't see that. But you can't read something that's written on that.
Oh, there's a message plate in the can. And then dreams are going to be engraved on the titanium plates using laser technology to replicate
Dreams?
handwritten
Do you think
submissions.
once everyone is doing this, it will end up like the $1 million homepage, where it's just nothing but just junk all over the moon, just like a bunch of
Probably.
crap?
Like, the moon's just going to be a junkyard or like a landfill just filled with shit.
So you can just send whatever you want to the moon. Like you don't have to ask permission.
Well, I mean,
or
nobody
anything. Like
owns-
it's just
Can
free.
we send Gavin?
Does anyone own the moon yet? Has anyone got
No,
it?
I don't think so. But I mean, it's like, could you get like the, in trouble? People with other countries be like, "What the fuck did you do?"
I think the next major war will be over the moon.
I can see that
But why do you want it?
because you don't have it.
Yeah, but
That's why. That's like the
everyone-
history of the Earth.
What you
You
pay
can't
for now?
live there
was
yet.
oil and stuff, and then like water and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now it's about advertising. It's about amount of people seeing something. That's why Facebook's worth a lot.
That's not necessarily true. Again, I'm going to go back.
Everyone can see the moon.
so you think there'll be a war over advertising?
Yeah, it'll be the great
Canada's
advertising
just
war.
like, we just want more exposure, man.
Again, going back to the Vice TV show, the most recent episode of Vice talked about how all the countries that border the North Pole are starting to engage in a new Cold War over who owns the North Pole. Because as global warming continues to erode the North Pole, there are now like viable shipping routes up there, and now you can access oil under the North Pole that was not accessible
See,
previously.
that makes sense.
So, like Russia has exerted that they own the North Pole, whereas like Canada, the United States, and their allies in Northern Europe have said that Russia does not own the North Pole. So now they all hold war games up above the Arctic Circle, right next to each other.
Jesus.
I wonder who will finish in pole position.
Oh, nice.
I like puns. I don't know what you guys do to them. You all fucking murder them though.
I've infected the brains of people who work here.